Well, welcome everyone to 28 Days of Love
with Kim
and Dr. Newt. I'm getting better at that, huh?
He
At least
that.
I think so.
He says that every time he sings it. He says that he's getting better. I love that he's encouraging himself because that's
right.
what we got to do.
That's what it says. Encourage yourself. You know that song? You know that song?
In the Lord.
Yeah. See, I know something
I'm
like
trying
that.
to remember how it goes.
I can get like one or two. I'll probably messed her up, right? Because I sang it wrong.
Yourself.
There you go. Yeah.
I was like, wait, it's something.
So I apologize for being late today.
Oh, it was my fault.
Yay.
I had to take the blame.
It was a full day. No excuses. So we figured I'd rather come on. Better late than never. Is that what they used to say back in the day? I know when I was an engineering student early in my freshman, sophomore, early in my college years, and one of my college physics teachers, his name was Dr. Hurd. He taught us electricity and magnetism, and he said, listen, there's no such thing as you can't be late, right? And he was teaching us one of the principles. It was called relative motion. Mm-hmm. So they can't do anything. Whatever's supposed to happen with you won't happen until you get there. So relatively by physics,
oh wow,
you
that's interesting.
So it was pretty.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean,
what's
it won't work
again, Dr. Y?
Dr. Hurd.
Dr. Hurd. Yeah. I like Dr. Hurd.
Now that won't work for your job.
Now don't do that at your job. Now. Then find somebody else to do what you do. Hi, Wubby.
So you guys, we have it's just us tonight. I guess I shouldn't say just us.
No, you shouldn't.
But it's us tonight.
But it's the two of us. Yeah. Just the two of us.
I remember that one, right?
We can make it if we
Kim knows every song. You could be in the elevator and the song will play and she'll know the song. I don't know how that happens. But
it's something in my family. It's kind of like bloodborne.
And I just noticed our granddaughter's here, one of our granddaughters. And so whenever music comes on,
Jada, come out, say hi.
Kim starts moving, right? Whenever music comes, I don't care wherever we are, right? So we were in the room.
Here's our first grandbaby.
Kim was say
hi, Jada.
See,
hi.
That's it. Look, she looks.
I
can really see.
That's my
Angie. You look right here.
Oh, her mama. There, Jada. I know she was my twin. Now she's starting to twin up with her mama.
Mom, yeah.
She was doobie twin. Now she's got mommy and daddy.
Either way, gorgeous. Either way.
Thanks, Jada.
That's the superstar of the family, right? So as soon as Kim turned the music on, what did Jada do? She started moving. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's what we do. It's in our blood.
Is that genetic? So hey, you guys, we had a real nice week this week. We started it off with the OGs this week.
That's right.
Miss Maddie and Uncle Al, way out in San Diego.
Little John,
42 years of marriage. They told us their story and told us some great gems. Then we talked to who was the first couple? Why am I forgetting? Look, I don't have my stuff in front of me.
Sheldon and Janelle.
Sheldon. Oh.
He's in trouble.
Hit some heavy bombs. They dropped that's a replay. I'm going to watch. I'm going to rewatch that replay this weekend.
Janelle is definitely heavy with that, and Sheldon is too.
Oh my goodness!
But I love Janelle's word where she talked about that counseling and how necessary it is, even without having problems, getting that counseling.
And I liked how Sheldon talked about, in a marriage, we have to accept that we're wired different.
Yeah, that's so good.
So I thought that was heavy. We'll actually touch on that a little tonight. And then
we talked to Norm. Yeah, we had Norm. That's my little musical brother. I will always call him my musical brother. Right. I love Norman Macmillan.
Right.
Macman.
he focused a lot on Get Up.
Yeah.
There's still more left.
Falling forward and getting up.
Yes, indeed.
I thought that was just brilliant.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And we all need to hear that, especially us who are going through difficult times or in your marriage, in your single life, however, whenever.
And I'm going to explain tonight that that's one of the actual needs that we have as men from our wife to help us be able to get up. And and to fail forward.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
So sit your booty down.
No, I don't want you to sit it down. I want you to stand your booty up.
I was just singing a song.
I know, but so he was very, very powerful with that. So
and last night we had
Jamil
none other
Jamil
Alexander,
Liz
Morales
Alexander.
From what's the name of her business is now? Morales. kitchen,
and then it's the have your cake and eat it too.
And she does tailored designs of cakes from
and
scratch.
Caters.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a caterer, check her
at,
out
at Liz Morales, LIZMOR.
I thought it was 717. No, it's Morales 717. If you want to look for her, that's what she said.
My bad.
But if you go on Facebook, you just look her up.
Liz Morales, right?
On Facebook.
And Jamil is JamilAlexander.com.
So it was just an amazing week. We had 4 different people.
What I like the most about theirs, I think it might be the most, was their prayer.
Yeah. That which is their mission.
Yes, it is their mission. So he said, "Oh yeah, definitely we have it." It's our prayer every morning, and then recited it.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh man, I got to do that."
And he got it from someone who he admired,
right,
growing up, Bishop O.T. Jones.
Yep,
so,
from Philadelphia, West Philly.
And he talked about how those things stayed with him, and just being able to recite something or create something for your relationship that, and then he even talked about how it's also a song, which is pretty much do a work in me. I want to be everything. So asking God to help him to be everything. Come on, sing it.
I want to be everything you call me to be.
Hey.
Y'all don't know that. Was that ever published?
No, it wasn't, but a lot of people do know the song because it was sung in Kojic a lot. And then even around here, I taught it to a lot of choirs and I taught it to the young people, so we sang it.
So nevertheless, we're going to circle back with Jamil and Liz.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk with them again. They dropped some heavy stuff.
Yes, indeed.
That needs to be revisited.
Yeah.
I know
it's like there were so many people that we want to revisit. I want to revisit Janine. And Iris, the Johnsons. I want to revisit the Colberts. I want to revisit the Browns. I just want to revisit all of them. But we have so many more coming next week, and it's just going to be beautiful next week. And we'll tell you about all of that on Monday when we come back on. But this week, as you guys know, it was Love's Tank. Knowing when your love tank is kind of depleting or needs to be filled. We talked about love language. Week 1, week 2 was love's vehicle, and week 3 is love's tank. And that tank has to be filled in order for you to move the place that you need to move in your marriage, in your life, in your overall being to fulfill your purpose, basically. So we have some questions. I'm going to ask Newt a question.
Okay.
Oh no, come on, you got something. No, I'll save my questions for next week.
Sure, I mean, whatever. Okay.
So Newt's gonna come. He's been prepared. Listen, I came home from work and took my grandbaby out. I just had that great time with her.
So I wanted to share with you guys really 6 keys to a healthy marriage.
Oh wow, so good.
So we figured we'd do that, and just real quick because I want to try to stick to the time that we had as much as possible. But we want to kind of start off to let you know that marriage was never meant to be between 2 people. It was always a triune. So if you could picture a triangle, at the top of the triangle is God. Then you have a husband, you have wife at the bottom of the triangle who are relating to each other horizontally. But the more that they relate to God, the closer they actually come together.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the marriage relation was meant to be. It's a prototype, not a prototype. What is the word? It's I'm not remembering the word, but it's a mirror. The marriage relationship is a mirror.
It is a mirror
of what the relationship with God was meant to be. Typology. I wrote it down. I want to get the word right. It's going to bother me till I said it right. So it's a typology, just mirrors, right? So in essence, I think it was Larry Colbert, who was one of our guests, said, listen, marriage is a godly institution, so you have to live by godly principles, right? So that's just, it's God's way. That's the way it's kind of been meant.
Yeah, his wife said it's God's idea. Yes, that's right, Julia.
That's how it was meant to be, from the beginning. So in doing so, we got to remember we're individuals.
Yeah.
And as individuals, we have different demands, different things on our life. For instance, today, I mean, there was a lot going on in Kim's life, a lot going on in mine, so we're running a little late, right? But here's the deal. A lot of times when as individuals, when things are happening in our lives, that what is happening is real to us, and it triggers all kinds of emotions and things and stuff. So my response to another person may be valid based on what's happening in my life at that time, right? But just because my response is valid to me doesn't mean that it's justified.
Right.
So
that's good.
So in a marriage, that's something that we need to keep in the front of our mind, and that is a learned behavior.
Interesting, because Newt says that to me all the time, because I pay attention to people, what people say, or their expressions, or their facial expressions. I'm in theater, so that's what I do. So he can say something and I'm immediately thinking how to make some adjustment, and he's like, Kim, just because I said that or felt like that doesn't mean you have to switch, but I'm sensitive. I'm a female, which I'm really good about nurturing and making sure the other person is okay. So I pay close attention to that. But he has been saying it for a while. You cannot just adjust yourself just because of my expression or
anyone else.
Or anyone.
So I was actually meaning it the flip side, but I'm glad she brought that up. I was meaning it more me, So if I'm having a busy day and there's a lot going on, and I come, out of my office or whatever, and I still have 9 things running through my mind. And, I don't know, Kim says, go get a loaf of bread. That's just like nothing. She would never say that, right? But I'm just saying that's the case. And, I turn around and say, man, I got all this going on, such and such and such, and I could be justified. It's valid from my standpoint because I have all this that I'm thinking about, and that in my mind is more important than a loaf of bread, Can we use crackers? I mean, something like that, right? But that doesn't justify my response to her.
Doesn't make it right.
Right. So in a marriage, we have to consider who we're with, is what I'm trying to say to you. There's a scripture, Ephesians 4, I think it's 31 and 32, where it talks about how we're supposed to speak to others with kindness and gentleness, and concern for them. And I'm just going to let you know flat out, Newt Miller, without God, that's not happening. That's not my tendency. I am I'm the youngest boy and spoiled. And if just in my raw nature form, I am self-centered. I'm thinking about what I need, how to get done what I need to get done, what's on my mind, what works on my plan. Now, my plan could include you, but it's mine.
Still yours.
Right? So that's just me at my raw.
Without God,
So I know that daily I need to stay physically fit, spiritually fit, to include that. If I want this marriage to have kind of quality. And every now and then Kim will remind me. She doesn't even know that's what's going on, but she'll remind me, You have to say it that way.
Why you do his face like that? Y'all do like I do. Because see, a lot of times I think his expression, him making expressions like me, are really the words that he's heard from me that remind him of that.
Right.
So I think you're acting out a character.
You do it too, I think. She does it with her voice. She'll mock your voice.
Sure will.
Right. So another scripture I want to throw in front of you to kind of back up what we're saying is Matthew 27, 37 to 39. And that's that scripture says, love God with all your heart. I kind of paraphrase it on here. Love God with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Right. And then it says, and love your neighbors. And I should have capitalized that word as yourself. And we've been saying it all week. As is a simile, like or as a simile. So that's a comparison between two things. So I don't know, red like the ball, or soft like, or as soft as a pillow, right? So either way, I'm comparing those two things. Well, I won't know what red is like. I can't say it's like the ball unless I already know what that ball is.
Like, or know what red looks like too.
I can't say it's as soft as the pillow unless I already know what the qualities of that pillow. I've had the pillow first. So when it says love your neighbor as yourself, you can't love your neighbor unless you have first loved yourself, because there's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So that's key in our marriage relationship, because before it even says that, it says love God with all your heart, mind, and soul.
But it also tells the husband to love his wife.
As
all of those
Christ
things.
Loved the church.
Yes, as Christ loved the church. So in order to love your wife, you like as Christ loved the church, you have to understand Christ's love for the church.
Exactly. So kind of what we're saying before we get to our keys is that marriage is about giving. So we said before, love is a choice.
Yeah.
You got to want to be married.
Yes,
but the thing about marriage is it's about giving.
Yeah.
Kim does this. She's way better at it than me. You know, if she's making a salad, she'll say, hey, you want a salad? You know, or whatever she's doing. Hey, you want such? Like, I might not think about it until I get 3/4 of the way through. She does it in the beginning, way better at it than me. But it's about giving. Not that I won't give. I mean, like, if I made the salad and she said, hey, I wanted a salad, well, here, just take mine. I'll make another one.
Yeah, or we split it.
Yeah, or something like that. But the point is, it's about giving. So if you're always giving, then you need something to replenish you.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that you have to have some unlimited renewable source.
Yeah.
That is replenishing you, because if not, then you are bound to give out and fizzle. And that's what happens with a lot of marriages.
Yeah.
So the only unlimited renewable source that I know of that can give me what I need when I don't even know what I need is God.
That's right.
You know, so
Holy Spirit.
It's just not religious talk.
No, it's just real.
Yeah, it's just real.
My creator, who created me, knows what I need. He knows
what I need. He's my manufacturer.
Exactly. And so he gave the Holy Spirit to make sure that my needs would be met. So definitely in his word.
So the first key, we said we want to tell you 6 keys. First key is that God must be the center of your life. You see yours capitalized. So it's not necessarily the center, although he's in our relationship. It's not necessarily the center of our relationship. It's I need to have a relationship with God. She needs to have a relationship with God. She needs to build hers. I need to build mine. We need to build it together. As we build it together, that top of that triangle, that's how we come closer together. So it must be in the center of your life.
Your is spelled Y-R. So I would say, why are you lacking? Because you are not connected.
Wow.
That is why we lack. Why? Your is spelled Y and then O-R-U with our. Why are you lacking?
Wow.
And the way you're lacking, the reason why we're lacking is because we are not looking to the person who can fill us.
Wow. Y'all see that creativity? See that creativity happening right there? That's what I'm talking about.
For free.
That's for free. All right. So key number 2, you guys. There's a difference between what your spouse needs and what your spouse wants.
What they want.
And why is this so important? Is because as a husband and wife, we're equal, right? In our marriage relationship, but we're different.
Yeah.
And Sheldon touched on that.
He talked about it too.
We're wired differently, and you have to accept that we're wired differently. So however that looks as far as the position of the mechanisms of how your house runs, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, my house is going to look different than yours. So don't come to me and ask me what should my husband and my wife do. I'm going to talk to you about position. I'm going to talk to you about purpose. But your design, that's what you two have to work on. I think I gave the example that our youngest son, who's married to a beautiful young lady, they run their finances very different than we do.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
theirs works.
And ours works. You know, so but the principle of position is that they're living in it. I mean, they're walking in that position the same as we. So husbands and wife are different, but they're equal, but they're different. So
equally created by God, differently created by God.
Right. So here's the difference. As a male man, and I'm saying male man meaning we're all human, right? So the male version man that God created, Genesis 1, is designed to be a depositor. We deposit things, you know, to start a thing, to give a structure, to put something in place.
To name a thing.
Yes. To give identity. So those are things that we do. This is what we're designed to do. A female man is designed to be a nurturer, right? You give a woman a seed, she's going to give you a baby. You know, you give her a piece of chicken, she's gonna give you a dinner. You know, I mean, she's going
or a bone. You
know, she's gonna take something and make it more than it was.
Yeah,
because that's what she does. That's how she's designed, right? She's a nurturer, right? So that means that we have different needs because we're designed differently, right? But it's that difference that we have that enables us to fulfill each other's needs.
Yeah.
So if there was not that difference, then she wouldn't fulfill my needs and I wouldn't fulfill hers.
Right. It's just like the lights. When you put the lights together, when you're rewiring the lights around here, you need a positive and a negative. And not that the negative is bad negative, but it's different. But in order for the lights to come on, you need both of them.
It's still a charge.
It's a charge.
It's still a charge. It just has a name called negative. Yeah. But and it completes the circuit. But remember to turn off the circuit breaker, though. Just remember that. Right. So the fact that our differences what helps us make others' needs is when we don't understand each other's needs or we mistake a need for a want.
Oh, wow.
So if I mistake a need for a want, then I don't put the urgency on it.
Oh, wow. That's good.
That it needs or the priority that it needs to make sure that it gets done. And it could be a need and I think it's a want. So that's going to lead to neglect.
The other part of that is the person who needs it has to actually verbalize it and make it known why it's a need and not a want.
Yes. Exactly.
You know, that goes both ways.
Yep.
But in order to understand that, I have to say, or in order for me to understand that, you have to indicate, you have to tell me more. Right. I don't just guess it.
So we are going to tell you some of those things based on just what we know about principles of design of male man and female man. But you got to know, don't mistake a need for a want. I'm talking to the men right now. Same thing goes with women. But if you do, that nurturer is going to take that experience and it's going to grow inside of her. And the next time something smells like, looks like, tastes like anything close to that, you're going to see that again. Because it has grown, because she's nurtured by design. So it leads to a neglect. And not to prolong this part, but a woman by design takes in a thought, a feeling, an episode, and incubates that thing for a while that we don't even know it's being incubated as a man, because we're more external. We tend to be more external. When that thing comes out of her, she finally lets it out. It's baked. It's cooked. It's been there for a minute, and she's usually massaged it some way to deal with it.
So it's like a baby.
Yes.
A 9-month process, and then delivery is coming, and you can hear her when she's delivering.
Yes, you can. And the problem, I'm laughing because it's not funny. Because the problem is sometimes we planted some things that when it finally comes out of her, it's done. It's not necessarily fixable right then. It's going to take
some work.
Yeah, some work or some surgery, maybe even some separation. So I'm telling you, do not mistake a need for a want. It leads to neglect. And neglect in a nurturer grows if you can't control or predict how that growth happens.
So then with a depositor, what happens to him if in fact he has a need that has not been taken care of and it looks like a want? Does that mean the depositing can go elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we both need to be very careful that we understand the need of our spouse. And then we also need to make sure that we share our needs. So communicating back and forth is extremely important.
So let me touch on what Kim just said a little bit about going somewhere. So when the need is mistaking for a want, and that neglect takes place, then you're going to have the tendency to still want to fill that need. So you're going to look elsewhere to fill that need. So now you're fulfilling that need illegitimately.
Yes.
So I don't want your mind to go to the extreme of cheating or something like that. So for a man, it could be, I'm going to spend more time in my career or my job, or maybe a female, a talent or a gift, or more time at church on the praise team. I don't know. Or more time with the children.
More time away from home.
Yes, or whatever it can be. But you're going to find a way to illegitimately fulfill that need.
If you're not doing the why are you? You're doing that because you're not making that connection to God.
Right. So let me tell you, there's 3 things that no person can do for you. 3 things, and this
they can never give you.
That they can never give you this. It's not something they can do. They can never give you your identity. They can never give you your purpose, and they can never give you acceptance. Those are things that God has already given you.
Right.
Way back in our Jeremiah 1:5, right? So those are things that God has put in place. We're not going to belabor that point a little bit, but because we know that, and because we're designed differently, and we already said that our difference is what allows us to meet each other's needs. Let's talk about 3 things that every woman needs.
Okay.
Right. And this is a short list, right? You can agree or disagree, but they're all principles: security, affection, and communication. 3 basic needs that every woman is going to need by design, being a nurturer, right? So let's look at security. And Kim chimed in. So
security can look many ways, though.
Yes.
Security. It can be the honesty of that mate makes them feel secure. And it can look many ways. So go ahead.
And that's kind of what's up on the screen now.
A safe place where emotional needs are protected.
That's first.
Yeah.
That's first.
Yeah.
So that, especially nowadays, our women is just, like we said, they're equal. We're equal, which is different. So Kim doesn't need me to put food on her table. She doesn't need me to have shelter. She doesn't need me to do any of those things. And vice versa, right? So we can do those things on our own, especially in 2022.
Where everyone can work.
Yes, it's not an issue, right?
But
so that security blanket of emotional needs is something that your wife just needs, and she's going to look to you for that. That is your job. And we, being a different design, fail at that more probably than we, I think I fail more than I succeed. But here's the good thing. Them being nurturers, when I succeed, that grows. So don't lean on that fail safe. Get better at being, the security blanket that meets emotional needs. But understand, I'm saying that to say to you, don't, like smack yourself around in the head because you missed that opportunity.
Yeah, just take the next opportunity.
Yes. But they also need, as far as the security, an active plan.
Yes.
A vision and a plan, because that's your job, the visionary, the depositor, for shelter and for financial security. I mean, things that are going on.
I feel like men also need that active plan as well, because they want to make sure that this is what we're doing, right? This is what we're doing. Okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. She needs to hear it from you.
Right.
She needs to hear you say, okay, babe, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do this.
Right.
And that is a part of security for her.
Love it. Love it. So the next one was affection. Right.
Definitely.
So
big one.
Yeah. We talk about affection. I'm going to flip that around. As a man, first thing we hear is sex.
Yeah.
And affection can lead to sex, right? But it's not what it is. Affection are those loving gestures, the attention, the adoration, the words, spending the time, stopping what you're doing.
Affection is intimacy.
Yeah, okay.
So instead of the sex word, I would say it's intimacy. A little bit. I mean, I know Newt's using this word because that's how we see it, but it's really that those intimate moments, the intimate times, that affection time. So the word affect, how you affect me. And shun, I forget what shun means, but I mean, I did it in my class with my kids. But that how you affect me, right. What you do, your loving gestures, your attention, that intimacy,
the affect that you have on me.
You have on me. That's what that means.
Right. So that's the second thing
what we need.
That needs to be put in place. So that's something that we have to practice because it's not a natural thing. Now, some are better at that than others, but it's not by design necessarily a natural thing. Remember, when Eve was created, our rib, the part that was close to our heart, was taken So that is her design.
Mm-hmm.
So we're missing some of that. That's something we have to practice.
That's good. That's
men.
good.
And the third thing is communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Key.
Mm-hmm.
Key.
So we already know this is science. This is cold research. A woman speaks almost 3 times more words per day.
Well, most
than a man does.
I say most because there's some men who just talk.
There's some men. There's empirical studies almost 3 times more. Yeah. And we're listening for the point. So I know I mess this up a lot because I'm moving. I'm going fast. I'm moving. There's all kinds of things going on, and Kim is explaining to me, the whole thing. I mean, I do it too, but she's telling me the whole thing, and I'm listening as the man, as the depositor, for something to fix it. How can I fix it? So I'm listening. Just recently we had something happen, and Kim came in. And she's starting to tell me how she's feeling and what's going on in her mind and what her plan is. Yeah. And I'm like, quit. You don't need the job. Quit. I'm already at the solution. Listen, we're going to go to the doctors. We're going to do this and quit. Some people don't mean nothing to you. I'm already at the solution. I wasn't communicating. I wasn't. She needed me to listen, to empathize with what was going on with her at the time and to relate with her, not try to fix it. Although we were going to come up with a solution, but not right then. It wasn't me, because it was happening to her.
So remember your nephew Jay said, I just couldn't give all of my intelligent answers. So if you guys watch Jay and Layla, he actually shared that about, I just had to listen. I couldn't give all my intelligent answers right away to fix everything.
And that's what we have to do. So one key, I'm giving the men, this is free for you. One key thing you can do is when you find yourself in that situation and your wife is talking, she's sharing, and before you start to offer solutions, ask, well, what can I do to help? In this moment, babe, what can I do to help? How can I help you?
Right.
So that babe or that key word or the move in your voice that gives some of the affection that she's looking for.
Yeah.
When you say, what can I do to help? It gives a sense of security emotionally. It does. And now you're communicating because I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
So it's a good phrase to use. It kind of pauses things. And remember, a woman tends to speak a little more than we do. So she's going to tell you. She's way more in touch with her feelings. She's going to tell you, but she's way more in touch with her feelings at that time. So sometimes it may be emotional. And that's where your depositor structure portion can come in and now create conversation around that. But that's a key. That one's for free. You have to come to one of our seminars to learn a little bit more about that, right? So 3 things every man needs, right? Kim just wrote me a note, said finish men's on Monday. Right? So I guess I'm not gonna say the 3 things every man needs.
You can, but we've got them. How
we've been on too long?
That's a lie. We can actually finish it tomorrow.
Okay, we'll finish it tomorrow then.
Is that good? Tomorrow or Monday? We'll see, because we come on Saturday for launch, but this is so good. This is actually 28 Days of Love, and this is definitely about the love's tank. This is definitely how you can fill your wife's tank and she yours.
Right.
So this was so good. Newt was really prepared. He's an over preparer, as you know. I love it.
We're teachers. So just real quick, again, the first key was God must be the center of your life. As you're working on your relationship and working on them together, you climb that triangle and you become closer together.
While you're growing, make sure that you are looking towards God.
Yes. Why? Because marriage is his institution. Got to have his rules.
Design.
Right. And the second key is there's a difference between what spouse needs and what they want. And you need to know that difference. Because if you don't know that difference, then you are bound to that's the wrong one. There it is right there. You're bound to mistake the wants for the needs, and it leads to neglect. And when neglect is happening, then we are going to illegitimately try to fulfill those needs some
Absolutely.
way, right? I think the only other thing we talked about today were the three things that every woman needs, and we said that they are security, affection and communication. Security is not just physical provision.
Right.
It's really more about that emotional safety that by design that incubator needs to have. All right. Yeah. So we'll stop right there.
That's great.
You stop right there. Okay.
Oh, you could have said the rest of, if you want to say something about affection and communication, and then we can end this.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, guys, this was just beautiful. So tomorrow we're on for launch, but we probably we're gonna finish this off. So if you are available tomorrow at 11 a.m., stop by
Eastern Standard
Time. Launch with Kim and
Dr. Newt.
Let me just let him say that. But this week has been 28 Days of Love. We thank you so much. We do have one mini video from our challenge creators, Quinn and Sade. So let's watch that, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Well, you know what? Let me move this banner out the way first, so it's not in the way.
Yes,
sorry about that. You ready?
Yes. Let's
set, go.
This is Sade and Quinn Howard, and this week's marriage challenge, drum roll,
is a date with your spouse, right? And that could be a date day, a date night. It could be going to breakfast. It could be lunch. It could be dinner, or it doesn't have to involve food. It could be going out bowling, going to the movies, whatever it looks like for you. The point is to spend time with your spouse one-on-one, because we all live busy lives and we all got all kind of stuff going on, and so it's really easy for another week just to go by and we don't spend that one-on-one time. And so we wanted to challenge you to find time inside of these schedules to go out and just spend that quality time. And so we challenge you to do that.
Date your spouse.
Thank you.